Top three games of the week. This this one was hard. I ain't gonna lie. We're gonna start off with the best game that we have to offer you.
Go ahead, go ahead. I can't wait to hear your predictions.
It's gonna be interesting. Georgia versus Alabama. Now I think this game could go either way. A lot of people might be shocked to hear me say that. I think the home field advantage has to be taken into account. And this is what I've kind of been noticing. Carson Beck, I'm not saying he's in a rocky start. I'm just saying he's not throwing for as much as I thought he would. He's not having an inaccurate performance. It's not like he's throwing all over the place, turning the ball over, this, that, the third. But he hasn't been consistently getting the ball in the end zone. Even the Clemson game, that first half, he didn't show me anything too well. Second half, yeah, he did good. Won the game, kind of blew him out. I think really what's saving Georgia is the defense. I think the defense is going to be kind of the muscle that they flex. And it's also going to have to be the spot of the team or the side of the team that does the best because the X factor of this entire game, I think, is Jalen Milroe. He's got the capability to score 3 touchdowns. LSU fans know that all too well. He could take over a game and he can make you look silly. But then again, he also has that I'm not gonna say streaky side to him, but it's like his highs are really high and his lows are really low. He can also turn the ball over and have Alabama's offense in a little bit of a stump. With that being said, I think this could be a close game. They got the total at 48.5. The spread's at -2. Georgia's favored walking into Bryant Denny, Nick Saban Field, whatever you want to call it. I think Georgia gets the dub. I'll go Georgia money line. I think it'll be close. I think this is the more complete team. They obviously have a high level of coaching, and that's not to slight anybody on Kalen DeBoer's staff or himself. I think they're all elite coaches, all really good. Obviously, they were in the national championship last year, but something's to be said about you've been in this conference winning at this level in these moments. Yeah, they're on the road. That's kind of the toughest part about it. And like I said, Jalen Milroe could make me look foolish. He could have a hat trick on Saturday, but I'm gonna ride with Georgia. I think once that coming down the track, baby.
I got Bama, man, 27-23. I think Jalen Milroe puts his cape on and he leads this team to a victory over a really, really tough defense that's coached by Kirby Smart, one of the best defensive minds in the game. I just think that Jalen Milroe, his experience is going to come into play in this game. He's played in so many huge games. I think this is a Heisman type of moment for him to have. Uh, and like you talked about with Georgia offense, they haven't been hitting on all cylinders. They haven't been running the ball like we've been accustomed to running the ball over the last 4 to 5 years. That offensive line has not looked imposing and dominant like we've seen, and so I think that gives the edge to Bama because you can say what you want to say about Carson Beck, and he's a Heisman Trophy candidate, and he's gonna be a first round pick. If you're Kirby Smart, you don't want Carson Beck throwing the ball 30 to 35 times a game. You just don't. You want him throwing the ball on first down, and on 2nd and 4, when it's a running, you know what I'm saying? When you're ahead of the sticks, you don't want him coming out throwing the ball on 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11, and Alabama knows he's about to throw the ball. I think that is a recipe for disaster. And I think that Bama on defense with Overton and Mickey and Otis, all those guys up front, I think they're going to be very, very disruptive. That's the word I'm going to go with all Saturday against that Georgia O-line. And I think that they just win this game 27-23, bro. And I think Jalen Milroe starts getting a lot of buzz to hold that Heisman Trophy up in January.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it. I think Jalen Milroe, not a lot has been said about that Heisman with him and his name. It's all been, the Cam Wards, the Travis Hunters, and rightfully so. They've been balling. But, I mean, Jalen Milroe's in prime position. He's got a lot of games. He's got that underdog type build to him. I think if he has a moment against Georgia and he continues to have his moments and he kind of pushes Alabama toward that SEC title game, kind of hard to.
And one more key I want to allude to before we move on to the next game. Kirby Smart is not familiar with going against Kellen DeBoer a whole lot. I think that plays a factor into this game. You're not used to what he's going to do because you don't go against Kellen DeBoer week in and week. I mean, season after season like you've been accustomed to doing when you play against a Bama like team. I think they're going to have to go back and watch a whole lot of film of what he did at Washington. But if you go back and look at the film he did at Washington, yeah, you could kind of see some of the plays and some of the packages he run. But this is a different personnel he has at Alabama. And a lot of people would say this is some better personnel he has at Alabama. And I just think that all that plays a factor into Kellen DeBoer's favor going into this game because you're not going to know his tendencies and what he's going to want to do on 3rd and 6 on 3rd and 3, or when the fourth quarter comes and they need a bread and butter play. Kirby Smart is not going to have really a idea on what he's going to do because he's not used to going against him. And so I think that could play a major factor into this game.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, I feel like, for Alabama and Georgia, for how close it's been, for kind of, all that rivalry over the past 8 years, it's been people that have not only played against each other a lot, but hell, Kirby came from the same coaching tree as Coach Saban. He learned from him, got the tutelage, kind of picked his brain about everything, got his own little Mad Hatter style. Here he is at Georgia with success, but that does have a lot of value. I think it's going to rely on the shoulders of the quarterbacks, which is about as cliche as I can get for my prediction. I think the reason I got to lean Georgia and the reason why I just took it is Alabama has to have almost everything go in their favor just because I think that defense is so perfect where you're going to have them get affected, get, discombobulated early. Jalen Milroe's going to have to hit on all cylinders, come out in a perfect, scripted first half and have a potential two, possession lead going into halftime. That would be Alabama's perfect scenario. If that happens, it's going to be damn hard for Georgia to come back, I'd imagine, on the road. But I just envision maybe some type of time of possession control, some type of hopefully, ETN could just chew and chew and chew it away. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't know what's going on with that. I know he kind of started the season with some suspensions and with some issues. Maybe that's played a big factor into Georgia's stalemate on offense. If they can somehow wake that beast up even for just 15 minutes to open the game up, I think they might be able to control the
And
game.
think about this. Think
And
about trying to prepare for somebody like Jalen Milroe throughout the practice week. You can't simulate what he does throughout practice. You're not gonna get a good understanding on what Jalen Milroe could do and how fast he really is and how strong he really is until the game comes. I think all that plays a factor into what's gonna happen on Saturday.
yeah, Jalen's pretty comparable to Jaden Daniels, especially in the same situation that they've been in. It's
Stronger, way stronger though.
taken like the year to just really develop. He's buying on the new system, and that rushing capability is like so completely, I'm not gonna say underrated, but it's like when you have a quarterback that can stretch a play like that, when everything's collapsing, when everything's covered downfield, he could still break away and give you an extra, two sticks worth of first down yardage, 20, 30 yard breakout run. Having Jaden Daniels on your offense makes you that much more explosive. It's a little bit easier to average 45 points per game and be the number one offense. So in that favor, I think Alabama's offense, they got a little leg up. But it's just really going to come down to who's executing the most, whose muscle really could be flexed the hardest in this
But
situation.
I'm not even talking about as far as Jalen Milroe trying to, play this game with quarterback design runs. I'm more so talking about when they blitz him and they try to sack him and they trying to bring him down to the ground. He's so damn strong that he'll get out of it and be able to make plays down the field. And so that's what I'm saying when I'm talking about you can't simulate what he does in practice.
He's like another, I'm not gonna say running back, but I mean
Like he's like Jalen Hurts.
he got that big old physique. I think it'll be interesting to see it play out. I'm wondering. I think Georgia might have it by if I'm gonna drop a score. I don't think it's gonna be high scoring. I'll keep it in the 20s.
27-23. That's my prediction.
I wanna take yours. Let me think. I'm gonna just go. Man, I don't want prices right you and go 24-27. Let's go. Go. Man, I'll go 28-24. We'll keep it in the same ballpark. We'll keep it in the relative ballpark. I don't know though. I can see it going either way. If Jalen Milroe kind of turns up, like you said, hangs him, Heisman moment. I'm in my stadium. This is my, this is it. I'm gonna go grab it. I don't know if Georgia's gonna have that answer. You're not, like you're saying, not gonna be able to simulate it. You're not gonna be able to really see this ever again. This is kind of one on one. There's not many people playing like him. Yeah, maybe Jackson Dart, but to your point, Jackson Dart don't really have the intangible side of it. He doesn't have the side of it that's gonna, keep people guessing, kind of keep you at
Right.
a little bit. Moving into the next game, Penn State, Illinois. This one was weird. I don't know much about Illinois. I know a little bit about Penn State. Nothing too crazy. Obviously, they're on a pretty decent run. Not sure if they're going to be even in the Big Ten championship, though. Hot take. I don't know if they're going to make it that far. I think they're solid on both sides. Illinois has a decent offense. I'm not going to say it's too tough to keep up. I just think Penn State's defense has been notoriously smothering. I think Illinois might have a hard time answering the bell every now and then. And I mean, if you lose 2 to 3 possessions to turnovers or even just punts, simple punts, giving the ball back to the offense, throwing your defense right back out there, That might be where this game is decided. Vegas has the spread at 18. It's hard. I'm not gonna make you take the 1,000, money line minus 1,000. The total's at 47.5. I think Penn State's gonna be the primary scorer in this game. I don't think they cover that by themselves, and I really don't know if Illinois is gonna score enough to even make this close to 47.5. So I'm gonna have to just lean Penn State minus 18. Crazy take. I'll bite it. That's my second pick right there.
I think Penn State beats Illinois. I think Nicholas Singleton is one of the best running backs in the country. I think he's going to be too much for the Illinois defense. I think he has over 100 yards and probably maybe two tutties. And then they're going to be able to open up the passing game with play action with one of the best tight ends in the country, and Tyler Warren. I think he's going to probably be a kid that gets drafted in the top 3 rounds of this year's draft. And so, and then we talk about somebody like Abdul Carter coming off the edge. He's going to be a top 15 pick. And then Illinois is just not ready. I'm not gonna say they're not ready. I don't think they really understand what they're getting themselves into playing Penn State because they're playing in Happy Valley, right? Yeah, I don't think they really understand what they're about to get themselves into.
At a six.
It's gonna be tough. And I know they had a really, really good win last week against Nebraska, but Nebraska ain't Penn State. I could promise you that. And so I got Penn State winning this game 28-20.
Okay. Okay. Man, if I'm gonna have to lean with my 18 spread, I'm gonna have to make up some La La Land numbers. Let's go 35-14. Nice and easy. Nice and
There you
simple.
go.
Nice and simple. I think the defense has a showcase. Last game. Now this one's interesting. This one kind of get thrown for a loop a little bit because I'm thinking Texas A&M's at home. That's why the line is what it's at. Arkansas. I mean, a lot of people are not really on the Arkansas bandwagon, but I don't see how a lot of people are on the Texas A&M bandwagon. They keep it really close with Bowling Green. They had to bench Weigman. I'm not too sure if it's, injury. I'm not too sure if it's kind of just them not sure if he's the guy. Either way, they got a freshman quarterback out there. That's been an interesting thing to kind of watch. But it's not even in College Station. You're in Jerry World. You're in AT&T Stadium at 2:30 in the afternoon. You take that home field advantage out of it. I'm leaning Arkansas. I'm leaning a little Razorback there. Plus, they're underdog. I think Arkansas is kind of, yeah, I mean, they might not be playing the best competition. They're averaging 40 points per game. They're top 8 in total yards at 520 yards per game. And the offense might not come out and do all that. I think they might be able to show some things. I think they might be able to kind of unravel a little more than Texas A&M has. I haven't got to watch the Aggies much. I did watch that Notre Dame game. It was pretty, not gonna say laughable. I ain't gonna clown too much, but I think that Texas A&M is nearing a situation where they're gonna kind of be bottom of the barrel in the SEC. With that being said, does Arkansas kind of take the chance and the moment to climb the rankings and kind of join the mid level of the SEC for right now, at least? I think they could do it. I think it being in Jerry World, it convinced me. Let's ride underdogs, Arkansas plus 145. That's my take for it.
I got Arkansas over Texas A&M. I love the freshman quarterback, Taylor Green, 6'6", 220 pounds. Jaquindon Jackson, the big running back out of Dallas, Texas. When we playing back at home out there in Jerry's World, I just think their offense is going to be hitting on all cylinders this Saturday. Don't get me wrong, A&M's defense is really, really good, but I think their offense is going to put them in bad field position. They're not going to be able to flip the field position, which is going to put Arkansas in short fields. And I think Bob Petrino has been doing a great job for Arkansas calling plays. He's been doing putting his dynamic playmakers in good situations. I know Taylor Green has thrown 4 interceptions this year, but I think this game he has a really, really, really good performance to get Arkansas over the top against A&M. And I got them winning this game 27-21.
27-21. Okay, I like it. I like it. Let's see. I'm gonna go. They got a total at 52. So they're thinking both teams kind of hanging around 26. I'll give Arkansas, sheesh. I'll give them 28. I'll give A&M 17. I don't think they go over 52, coach. I don't know. I don't think A&M got it in them. I think A&M has been a little scraggly. They've been a little,
Yeah,
they're going to lose their luster here.
yeah.